As the first ever organ transplant recipient to compete in the Winter Games, Chris Klug has made history in more than one way. His incredible list of honors, medals, and awards speak to his snowboard racing prowess. A native of Colorado, Chris was born in Vail and was on skis by age 2.
And there was a bike store near our home that started selling the very early snowboards, Burton boards they called them, and they were not much more than a long skateboard deck, no edges. He tried it out and just fell in love with snowboarding, loved it. I remember his mother thinking, this is a good way to break your neck, let's not let him do it. But of course, there was no stopping him. He was eager to give it a try, and by gosh, that first Christmas after he tried it, there was a brand new Burton snowboard under the Christmas tree, and he was off and running, and skiing was history for him.
Chris showed a lot of early talent in racing in the juniors and amateur class. He won the USASA Slalom and Giant Slalom national titles as a junior, but the guy's like 6'2", 225 pounds, and we all knew he had to stop racing juniors at that point.
In 1991, Chris went pro. He jumped on the World Cup Tour, had immediate success, was a standout for the Americans, followed that up with 4 World Cup victories, 3 Grand Prix victories, and also 5 national titles. So as soon as he went pro, it was obvious that he was ready, and he just committed and executed.
As Chris competed through the late 90s and things are starting looking up for him as far as getting to the Olympics, and the status of snowboarding is becoming a worldwide acceptance, really great times of growth for snowboarding, Chris was holding on to a secret. The secret that he had a rare liver disease requiring a full transplant, life or death situation for him, and he was teetering on the brink. Throughout that time, Chris was able to continue to compete. 6th place at the Nagano Olympics.
And when at the bottom it was not a medal position, we were still pleased with the results, and we knew that this was a victory, but in my heart, I knew that Christopher was saying, I'll be back in 4 years.
But it was about 2 years before the Salt Lake Olympics that Christopher's health started to really go downhill, and all of a sudden his liver took a huge nosedive, and he had a lot of pain. I remember him telling us, calling us up that night and saying, wow, I've got big problems. It just feels like somebody stuck a knife in my side.
The situation with Chris regarding his liver transplant and was very serious. The same disease that took Walter Payton's life. We went through several months just not knowing, where Chris was getting ill quite a bit and would have to go in for these quick burst treatments of adjusting his liver, so to speak.
And about 90 days after that, after moving up to the high priority on the transplant list, the call did come in.
Following the transplant, Chris wasted no time. You know, a lot of people that knew him before the transplant and knew him afterwards said that there was just a change in perspective. And in Chris's own words, basically said that it was an instantaneous effect. It was a new engine in his body, and it was better, faster, and stronger.
And faster and stronger he was. Only 18 months after a life-saving liver transplant, Chris had once again made the Olympic team and was ready to compete in the Salt Lake Games.
Chris was the first ever athlete to compete as an organ donor recipient.
When Chris came across the finish line in his final race to win the bronze medal, the place erupted, and so did the Klug family.
Following a bronze medal finish at Salt Lake, Chris continued to compete and win. He went on to qualify for his 3rd Olympic Games in Vancouver.
Vancouver was an incredible experience for both Chris and I. We had a coach-athlete relationship which spanned 20 years, 2 decades. Chris's achievements are amazing. I'm not sure that they'll ever be duplicated by another North American, or for that matter, European.
Chris Klug has had a profound impact on the sport of snowboarding, especially in the town he calls home.
It really has set the bar higher for what has ultimately led to the freeing of Ajax to snowboarding, and certainly played a role in helping secure the Winter X Games here in Aspen Snowmass for so many consecutive years as well.
Now retired, Chris is spreading the message of life-saving organ donor awareness. Through the Chris Klug Foundation, Chris uses his platform of the Olympics as well as action sports to focus specifically on young adults with the story of donor awareness. He speaks around the nation, telling of his Olympic experiences and his return to the active, race-winning living following his transplant.